Tonight, when it gets dark, you will reach out and turn on a light without thinking about it. For almost all of human history, that was not an option, and the dark was not peaceful. It was the most dangerous 8 hours of every single day. Here is how we know. In a cave called Swartkrans in South Africa, researchers found a piece of a skull belonging to a child who died around 1.5 million years ago. Not a human child exactly, an early hominin, one of our distant relatives. There were 2 neat holes punched into the back of it, a few centimeters apart. For years, nobody could explain them. Then a paleontologist named C.K. Brain tried something simple. He took the lower jaw of a leopard and he held its 2 long canine teeth over the holes. They fit exactly. That child had been grabbed by the skull, dragged up into a tree, and eaten. And leopards hunt in the dark. So this is the real question. For hundreds of thousands of years, every night, our ancestors had to lie down and become unconscious in a place where things like that were hunting. And somehow, enough of them survived that you exist. How? Start with the thing nobody thinks about. Your eyes are terrible. Humans are a daytime species. Our eyes are built for color and detail in bright light, which is fantastic for spotting ripe fruit and reading faces, and close to useless once the sun goes down. A leopard's eyes are built the other way around. Behind its retina is a reflective layer that bounces light back through the eye a second time, squeezing usable vision out of almost nothing. That's why animal eyes shine when a light hits them at night. Yours don't. So every evening, the entire situation reversed. During the day, a group of humans was a serious problem for a predator. Loud, coordinated, throwing things. At night, the same group was a pile of blind, slow, soft animals lying on the ground. And there was a second killer, quieter than the first. Cold. People imagine Africa as hot, and in the daytime it is. But on open savanna, the temperature can fall to 5 or 10 degrees at night, and a sleeping body with no fur and no blanket loses heat fast. Cold doesn't need to freeze you to kill you, it just needs to keep you a few degrees too low for long enough. Predators, blindness, and cold, every night, for hundreds of thousands of years. Here's what they did about it. The oldest answer was the simplest one. Don't sleep where the leopards walk. Watch a chimpanzee at dusk and you'll see it. Every single evening, a chimp climbs into a tree and builds a fresh nest, bending branches inward, weaving them into a platform, adding softer leaves on top. It takes a few minutes. They do it again the next night, somewhere else. They almost never reuse one. Our ancestors almost certainly did the same thing. A tree is not comfortable, but it removes the 2 animals most likely to kill you, because lions and hyenas can't climb well. Leopards can, which is exactly how that child at Swartkrans ended up where he did. But a tree cut the danger enormously. The problem is that you cannot stay in the trees forever. Bodies got bigger and heavier. Branches don't hold heavier bodies. At some point, our ancestors had to come down and sleep on open ground, which should have been suicide. It wasn't, because by then they had something no other animal on Earth had. In Wonderwerk Cave, also in South Africa, archaeologists found burnt bone and ash deep inside the cave, 30 meters from the entrance. Far too deep for a lightning strike or a grass fire to reach. The sediment is around 1 million years old. Fire solved all 3 problems at once, which is why it changed everything. It gave light so you could see something coming. It gave heat so cold stopped being lethal. And most importantly, almost every large predator is instinctively afraid of it. A fire doesn't fight a lion. It just makes the lion decide that whatever is over there isn't worth it. For the first time, a group of humans could sleep on open ground and wake up in the morning. Harvard's Richard Wrangham has argued this was one of the genuine turning points in becoming human. Fire is what let us leave the trees for good, but fire has a weakness. It goes out. This is the part almost nobody knows, and it's the best answer to the question. A researcher named David Samson wanted to know how people actually sleep when there are no walls, no doors, and no locks. So he went to Tanzania and studied the Hadza, one of the last hunter-gatherer groups on Earth who sleep outdoors in small camps. He put sleep monitors on 33 people and recorded them for 20 days, more than 200 hours of sleep data from an entire community. Then he looked for the moments when every single person in the group was asleep at the same time. Across the whole 20 days, he found 18 minutes. 18 out of more than 200 hours. For virtually every second of every night, somebody in that camp was awake, and nobody was assigned to do it. There was no watch rota, no shifts, no one volunteering. It happened by itself, because of something simple. People of different ages sleep at different times. Older people get tired earlier and wake earlier. Younger adults stay up late. Someone gets up because they're cold, or because a baby is crying, or for no reason at all. Spread that across a group of 30 people of mixed ages, and the gaps close on their own. The camp is guarded all night by an accident of biology. Researchers gave it a name: the poorly sleeping grandparent hypothesis. The old people who complain they can't sleep through the night aren't broken. For most of human history, they were the reason the group made it to morning. Now, one thing you have probably heard about this is wrong, or at least not as old as people say. You may have heard that humans naturally sleep twice: a first sleep, then an hour or two awake in the middle of the night, then a second sleep. That's real, and a historian named Roger E. Kirch found hundreds of references to it in old European writing. Before artificial light, that seems to be how a lot of Europeans slept. But when Jerome Siegel's team at UCLA measured sleep in 3 hunter-gatherer groups on 2 continents, they didn't find that pattern. Those groups mostly slept in one block for around 6 to 7 hours, less than most people assume, and they did not go to sleep when the sun went down. They stayed awake in the dark for hours afterwards. Which points at something. That gap between sunset and sleep wasn't wasted time. Fed, warm, and safe inside a ring of firelight, with nothing to do and nowhere to go. That was the only time in the day when nobody was working. That is when people talked. That's when the stories happened. So the honest answer is that no single thing saved them. It was 4 things stacked on top of each other. Get off the ground, keep the fire burning. Stay in a group big enough that someone is always awake, and accept that the dark belongs to something else, so you build a small circle of light and stay inside it until morning. Tonight, you'll flip a switch, and the dark will simply stop. Your ancestors spent 1,000,000 years earning that switch, one night at a time, and every one of them had to survive every single night, or you wouldn't be here.